Chapter 6. Being with him and chosen champions. I had never been so close to him like this before, and I started to really look at him more in detail. His black raven hair is always parted in the middle, and how it falls in his face by accident or flips it out of his face. The way his eyes are shaped and how midnight looking his eyes are. His pupils are like a black hole you could look endlessly in. His chiseled face, jawline, and charming gaze. He might be my potions master and way older than me, but he's dashingly handsome and yet sexy too. Does this make me have a small thing for older men? Or am I just going insane? I didn't even realize just how hard I was staring into him until I started to hear his own heart beating, fast like mine. He's older with much more experience than me. How can he be so casually cruel, cold, and yet soundly sexy behind the scenes? He only asked one question. Why choose me out of the young boys you can have? I looked up at him and responded, because you're different, older, and wiser compared to everyone else my age. You're also more experienced and know exactly what a woman needs or wants. There's something about you that I can't shake off no matter how hard I try. It's like a magnetic energy when it comes to you. That's the best I can explain. He didn't say anything, but could tell the tension was growing by the minute. Maybe he sees me as a young woman after all, and not some smart student of his. I may be young, but I have feelings I can't deny. Should I come right out and bluntly say what I've been too scared to admit for a while now? Hearing both of our hearts beating quickly made me feel so shy and incredibly nervous. I'm going to be brave about this. I'm going to admit it and see what happens. Professor Dumbledore told me to follow my heart, and I am now with this decision. I whispered, I love you, Severus Snape. He quietly responded, I do too, Miranda Parker. Not finding the right words, I gave him a kind smile, and he flashed one back. Neither of us seemed to care that another class was bound to come in any minute now, but the door was locked so that no one could get in at all. He leaned in, and as I closed my eyes, soon overcome with the feeling of his lips fondly on mine. The kiss that I didn't know would shake me to my core. His kiss was surprisingly passionate and delicate simultaneously. It seemed like he secretly wanted this to happen too. The feeling was incredible. It was everything I wanted. I don't know if he felt it too, but I felt sparks within our kiss. I thought he would have been harsh towards me and pulled away or something, or even tell me to stop and call me some kind of harsh name, but yet he didn't at all, nor resist it. I guess Severus Snape did want to kiss me after all. We looked into each other's eyes, paused for a moment, and locked lips again. I snaked my arms around his neck, and he carelessly put his hands along my hips, as if he were claiming me. Everything else at that moment seemed to disappear, like neither of us cared about the possible consequences or what was really happening. We stood there for what seemed like forever, kissing. Even though I knew this wouldn't last as long as I wanted, time stood still. Suddenly, I felt his tongue begging for entrance as he lightly bit my lower lip, and I happily let it roam. So, we were currently standing there in the middle of the classroom by his desk, French kissing. If someone had told me long ago that I would be standing here French kissing our potions teacher, I would have said they were bloody crazy. This whole moment felt like a dream come true, in my opinion. I mean, I've had a growing crush on my potions teacher that turned into love in the mix. Compared to now, I'm in the classroom with the two of us kissing, and he's super close to my body. I could literally feel his breathing with the motions of his chest moving up and down. Without grasping any feelings of what was currently happening, I suddenly started feeling something inside myself start to tingle down below. Is this feeling of my sexual side trying to shine its way through? My emotions began to feel completely different than beforehand. Is this feeling of what they call first love that I've read about before? He seemed to let go of my lips as I stopped and interlocked my hand with his. This entire moment almost felt like a fairy tale weirdly, or something you would read in a romance novel. I I never wanted it to end. I know we have to move forward and go on with our day. Without thinking, I buried my head in his chest as he hugged me tightly. I noticed he hesitated at the sudden movement as I felt his chest tighten up, but he soon gave in to embrace me. I had the small note he wrote to me crumbled in my hand. I couldn't believe that all of this became a reality in a flash before my eyes. I felt him form a tiny grin as I knew he felt me smiling back. He placed a kiss on top of my forehead, and I felt safe and sound of his arms. This has to stay between us and not be spoken of, Miranda. No one must know about this. If word gets out about us, I swear our secret will be safe within closed ears, Severus. Don't worry. At that moment, I knew Severus Snape might have some form of love for me. This all felt like it had lasted forever, even though a fraction of time had passed. This was the happiest moment by far. I can't believe this actually happened. I watched him whip out his wand and unlock the door as he let me go of his grip. I stood on my tiptoes and gave Severus a small peck kiss as we said goodbye. I left the room and went to meet up with Hermione, Ron, and Harry. I quickly spotted them as they were quietly nearby. Okay guys, were you all watching the entire time? Ron responded, Yeah, Miranda, we were. Don't worry though, your secret's safe with us. We're your best friends. Trust us, Miranda. It's okay, Harry added. I didn't know what to respond with except a small smile. I wasn't entirely mad at them though. Hermione chipped in, That was a romantic moment between you and him, Miranda. I would have never expected to see Professor Snape go soft on someone. With that in mind, I decided to show them the note Snape had written. They were in awe and full of surprise, which made me blush in return. 2 days later, that evening, we had all gathered around because it was time to reveal the chosen ones for the tournament. I was right by Hermione as Harry and Ron were by us too, except that Harry was sitting down in front of Hermione. I couldn't help but glance up at Snape as he caught my eye too. My attention immediately went to Professor Dumbledore as he said, Sit down, please. Now then, for the moment you've all been waiting for. The champion's selection. All eyes were on him as he went to the goblet that changed the color of the flame from blue to red. A piece of paper comes out of the goblet as he grabs it. The champion from Durmstrang is Victor Krum. Everyone within Durmstrang cheered for Krum as he got up to walk up front. A minute later, another piece flies out. Dumbledore grabbed it and said, The next champion from Beaumatis is Fleur Delacour. Everyone for Beaumatis cheered for Fleur as she got up and walked up front too. A third piece flies out as he says, And the Hogwarts champion is Cedric Diggory. We all cheered for him as he quickly caught my eye and smiled at me. I smiled back at him as I cheered, watching him walk up front with Fleur and Krum. Excellent. We now have our 3 champions. But in the end, only one will go down in history. Only one will hoist the chalice of champions, this festival of victory, the Triwizard Cup. Students started to cheer, but the goblet glowed red again as my eyes were glued to Snape, walking down and staring past Dumbledore at the cup. Dumbledore turned around to watch as another piece of paper flew out and grabbed it. I didn't hear who he whispered at first until he said it louder the second time. Harry Potter. My eyes bugged out in surprise as I looked at Hermione and we both looked down at Harry. I muttered, No, as Dumbledore shouted out loud, Harry Potter! I watched Hermione as she gave Harry a nudge to stand. Go on, Harry. Harry, for goodness sake. I watched as he looked at me while standing and slowly walking through everyone to Dumbledore. I saw Dumbledore handed Harry a piece of paper. I guess maybe it had his name on it. I heard other students starting to mutter, and I couldn't believe it. He's a cheat, I heard one of the students yell. He's not even 17 yet. Everyone is just staring at poor Harry, including all of the teachers, and Snape too. I was speechless. I didn't even know what to say. I nudged Hermione as I muttered, Well, this just turned into some hell. She nodded her head and said, I don't think he even has a choice in the matter now. I noticed how Ron never said a word. Is he mad at Harry now? The rest of the evening soon passed, and I calmed down from everything. The last thing I remember was being in bed as everyone couldn't believe Harry's name came up. The next day, Halloween morning, I bravely decided to finally tell Professor Dumbledore about Snape, and I had to know his reaction. I don't even know how he'll react, and if he'll approve of this at all. I mean, he's the headmaster after all, and since we had that talk beforehand, I know Snape told me not to say anything, but I have to with Professor Dumbledore. If I don't say something now, he'll find out somehow, one way or another. I'd rather not get into trouble either, for that matter. I went to his door and waited for it to open. I then heard a faint voice. "Come in." Once the door opened, I walked in toward his desk. "Hello, sir." "Hello, Miranda. What is it I can do for you today?" "Well, Professor, do you remember when you told me earlier that I would find out if Professor Snape likes me or not?" "Yes, I recall that conversation we had. Why do you ask?" "Well, because I strongly believe now that he might possibly feel something strong for me after all." He looked at me as if he were waiting for me to continue speaking. So then, I told him everything about the day in potions class, and I even showed him the note Snape gave me as it was in my pocket. I also told him about our kiss and all that after the note. He looked at me. "I have to say, dear Miranda, I never thought he would possibly fall in love with someone like you, a student nonetheless." I asked curiously, "What do you mean, sir?" "Well, you see, Miranda, Professor Snape really loved Harry's mother, Lily Potter, since they were young. They had known each other for years as they grew up together. He has clearly never stopped loving her or caring for her. Even in death, I believe he still loves her deeply inside of him, even if he doesn't say a word." "Meaning that it's been hard for him to let Harry's mother go to love anyone else?" "Yes, that's precisely what I mean." "Wait a minute. You mean you aren't mad at me or Snape for kissing, even though I'm a student and he's the teacher?" "Well, yes and no, because for obvious reasons, which I'm sure you know of. Alas, I knew from the moment you admitted your feelings that this was bound to occur one of these passing days." "I guess you really do know all, don't you, sir?" I shyly stated. "Do you think he does love me in some way, Professor, as he admitted?" "Miranda, I can tell by the way he looks at you and acts that he does. Don't you worry. I'll not only try my best to keep you safe, but also keep this little secret behind closed doors. Severus deserves some happiness, and if that's within you, I'll admire his wishes." I then smiled. "Thank you, Professor, for the small talk and reassurance." He smiled back kindly. "Any time at all, Miranda. Also, if you ever need to talk when it comes to him, just come directly to me." "Don't worry, sir. I'll remember that."